Hello, thank you for joining me. You're watching Esther from Stampin' Star Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Today I'm going to show you the swaps that I've made for the November Onstage. It's a Stampin' Up convention for demonstrators. I'm going to use a pop of petals, the splatters again from Waterfront, and this leaf here from Rooted in Nature. The colours I'm using are Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay and Night of Navy. I've got a Whisper White piece of cardstock here and I've trimmed it down to 5.5 inches and I'm using the sponge brayers. Starting off with the lighter colour, the Coastal Cabana, I'm getting a good lot of ink onto my brayer. It's always a good idea to start off the page so you don't get too much of a heavy sponged look on the top of your card. Starting lightly, and then as you go on you can start pressing a little bit harder and getting more colour onto the page. Just got to get a feel for it. Going back in with some more colour and fading that off a bit. I'm also going in slightly different directions, trying to avoid lots of streaky lines. Next is Bermuda Bay, and I start just by taking a bit of the colour off and then going in, realise actually I can start from the bottom and work my way up. And that will give you a nice faded look into the next colour, into the Coastal Cabana. Because we're going in with a darker colour underneath also, it doesn't matter too much. It's all about the blending really, you just want those colours to blend together nicely. Working with Night of Navy, and I very dangerously re-ink this midway in the hope it's not going to leave too much of a patchy mark on my project. I keep working it in. The great thing about our paper is it's so smooth that you can just keep working on it and the colour does just blend together nicely. And there it is, isn't it beautiful? I'm going back in with Night of Navy and that leaf and just going in, stamping it twice and going in a diagonal line so that I can get a nice even print all over the paper, and trying to get even distribution when it's going to be cut up later as well. It's quite important. I did use that leaf stamp earlier, but I wasn't quite happy with the results. I wanted something a bit more blocky. So I'm going in with this other leaf and just inking it so that I'm not catching that stem, so it tucks in nicely to the other leaf. And going in and doing 3-step stamping, or 3-generation stamping, sorry. So that leaf fades out as the more you stamp. I'm doing a tapping motion with my embossing buddy. I want lots of powder on there just to make sure it's really dry, because you've got the ink from the brayering and the ink from the stamping. And even then it sometimes still catches some of the wet ink that you've been working on. I'm going on top of the leaves with the flower stamp from Pop of Petals. And I keep having to lift it up just to see where I've stamped. It's best if you do it methodically, but I went a bit all over the place with this one. And we're going in with a copper. It's such a striking colour. I'm just using the end of my embossing buddy to take off any stray bits of powder that I don't want. Heat setting the powder on and also just giving the back a blast to stop any warping. But actually it didn't warp very much at all, to my surprise, so that was good. I'm going in with the speckles from the Waterfront stamp set, just giving myself a nice flat base with the piercing mat and adding speckles. I love these speckles. And there it is after it's been heat embossed. I'm trimming these down to about 1.5 inches, and I can get about 5 out of half an A5 sheet of card, and you will have a little bit left over which can be saved for other projects. Now I have marked up my popper petals and I've marked up my punch, so the idea is that after I've stamped it you can go straight in and you know exactly which direction to put the punch to pop those out. I've heat embossed these in copper also. Grabbing my copper thread, doing about 3 to 4 turns and leaving it on the spool, just attaching that to a glue dot and then putting the flower straight on top and then snipping that off. I've already set up the leaves on my Stamparatus and I'm going in with a thicker A6 size Whisper White. Going in with the Coastal Cabana, half of that, and then going in with half of Native Navy. And I'm trying to achieve an ombre look. Because the stamps are smaller, I've just decided to use these 2 colours. And then to avoid a streaky line, I'm just grabbing my brayer and brushing over that centre piece, acting as a sponge to try and merge those colours together without a streaky line across it. So as you can see, it just blends those colours together slightly. Going back in with that same stamp that we used earlier, the speckles, stamping 3 times over the leaves to give it that continual effect. Going in my Tombow glue and sticking that strip down now and bringing it all together. I add a bit of Tombow on top of the flower. Although it's got the glue dot, I just needed a bit more stability, especially as they're going to be swaps. And then I should have done this earlier, but I've done it at the end. This is a mixture of surgical spirit or alcohol mixed with the frost white metallic paint and put it in a spritz bottle. And I'm just trying desperately to pick this up on camera. It leaves a gorgeous shimmer across the project. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch you at Onstage. If you're going, do give me a thumbs up and comment below if you've liked the video. Take care, hope you have a good day. All these things can be purchased at my shop, stampinstarcreations.co.uk.